Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I'm Atul. In this video, we are going to discuss about the continuous statement with for loop. So generally, we have seen that the loops are executed until the condition is true. This condition is checked at the top of the loop and hence the loop is not exited if the condition becomes false in the middle of the execution. Generally, this situation does not happen because the loop is created to execute all the statements within a body. But in rare scenarios, if it happens, then we need to exit the loop by changing the execution from its normal sequence. The continue statement in Python gives programmer a better flexibility for implementing the control logic in loops in these situations. In Python, when abnormal loop termination occurs, all the objects that were created in that scope are destroyed. I should also mention here that ideally every loop should have a normal flow and have a single entry and exit point. It's always discouraged to use the abnormal loop termination because it introduces an exception into the normal control flow of the loop. However, in some unavoidable situation, continue statement can be the only alternative. Being said so, let's talk about the continue statement with for loop. During a program execution, the way a break statement is found within the loop, the remaining statements within the body of the loop are not executed and the loop is exited. But when a continue statement is found within a loop, the remaining statement within the body of the loop are skipped. However, loop is executed again and the condition in the loop is checked again to see if the loop should continue or to be exited. If the loop condition is still true, the loop is not exited, but the loop execution continues at the top of the loop. We should also note that similar to break in a nested loop, the continue statement affects only the loop in which the continue statement is found. With the continue statement, we can stop the current iteration of the loop and continue with the next statement that is present in the code. The continue statement returns the control of the program to the beginning of the loop. It rejects all the remaining statement in the current iteration of the loop and moves the control back to the top of the loop. So the Python continue statement is a loop control statement that forces to execute the next iteration of the loop by skipping the rest of the code inside the loop for the current iteration only, which means that when the continue statement is executed in the loop, the code inside the loop following the continue statement will be skipped for the current iteration and the next iteration of the loop will begin. Now let's suppose that if I have the name list which I had in my break statement for loop, so let's take that. So if I have this list, okay, and let me put it over here and print it. So if I have my name list and if I do not want to print a specific name, but I want the rest of the names to get printed, in such a scenario we can use the continuous statement. So for our example over here, let's say that I do not want my name to get printed, but rest all names should be printed in my code. So for that I'll simply use for statement saying that for name in name list print name. With this for statement all the names will be printed. Okay, that's a syntax error. Print, yep, all the names is getting printed, but I do not want this Atul name to be printed over here. So what I have to do is that I have to use a control statement saying that if name is equal to Atul, then continue, then basically skip this iteration. Okay, so let me run this again. In this program we can see that Atul is not getting printed. So what's happened over here? In the first iteration the name is Aradhana. It got checked against this Atul string. It's not equal to Atul string, so that's why Aradhana is printed. In the next iteration, you can see the value is Atul. Atul is equal to Atul. It becomes true. The moment it becomes true, the control comes to this continue statement. With this continue statement, the program knows that we have to skip this iteration completely and goes back to the main loop again with the next item, which is Sandeep. So now Sandeep is compared against Atul and it becomes false. That's why Sandeep is printed over here. And the loop goes on for all the item that is present in the list. So this is how basically you can use the continue statement with the for loop to force the program to execute the next iteration of the loop by skipping the rest of the code inside the loop for the current iteration only. Happy learning and see you in the next video.